What's up, fam? Welcome back. You know what it is. Look, I'm smiling real hard because we're about to talk about something that's kind of hard. Okay, it's hard. It's talking about how to get through a tough conversation, but not only just getting through it. How do we even start one? All right, fam, it's very clear if you clicked on this video that you have a tough conversation coming up and you know that it has to happen one way or the other. You're just smart enough to find out what's the proper way to do it. Now, I'm no expert. However, I've had a lot of tough conversations. I've noticed a pattern in all of them. I've gone back and rewound them in my mind, as well as talked to the people afterwards, and found out that there were just a few things that we did that made the hard conversation begin better than usual, better than the uneducated person, as well as how to see the whole thing into its full fruition. So I've got some notes set up here on my right hand side. If I do look this way, don't be appalled, don't be scared or anything. I'm not looking at a random gremlin back here who's telling me all this shit to say. I'm actually looking at a piece of paper. Do you want to see it? There's the paper, okay? It's dirty, but we're gonna read it. Not dirty, it's sloppy. I'm a sloppy girl sometimes, but hey, we gotta do what we can do to live our life. Now, how to start and have a hard conversation. It's going to be kind of like steps, but these are things to keep in mind as the conversation is unfolding, okay? So the first thing is to begin with an intention. Begin with an intention, okay? And we're only talking about yourself. Talking about you, not the other person. Let them do what they're going to do. If you know that you're going to have a tough conversation with them and it's coming up soon, share this video with them. They're not going to know you watched it. But begin with the intention, okay? Your own intention. What is your intention? And this ties into number 2. Which is to be open and honest with your intentions. Okay, what's your intention? Be open and honest about it, right? So, because number 3 is if your intention is making that person feel the way that they made you feel, that's not the way to go, and you should not say a single word about what the problem is, okay, until you get your intention set straight, okay? You do not want to have them tell you, you do not want yourself to say, the reason I want to have this conversation is because they made me feel like shit, and I want them to know how it feels to feel like shit. Because that in turn is only going to cause what? Turmoil, chaos, more crap to deal with and talk about. We don't want more, we want less, okay? So let's focus on this. If your intention is making someone else feel the same way that they made you feel or anything of the like, don't talk, okay? What you want to do is create an intention that comes from the heart, right? Comes from the heart and comes from pure love and understanding. That's what we want to focus on, is pure love and understanding. My intention with this conversation, this person really hurt me when they said this. My sole intention is to tell them how I felt when this happened, right? Tell them how I felt when this happened. But to the end of that, I want them to come out knowing that there's a different and even better way to not only communicate with me, but with anybody else who may have the same issue. Okay? So that's the type of intention that we want to set. Something that's going to have a positive outcome out of it. And the positive outcome, don't get me wrong, the positive outcome can be that you don't speak to that person anymore, or they're no longer as big a deal in your life as they previously were, right? That's a positive outcome. If you two find out, for instance, if you're in a relationship and you have to have a hard conversation with this person, and no matter what the conversation entails, let's say a week or 2 go by, that conversation went well, but nothing's changed, well, then you may have to have another hard combo with them and let them know this time, my intention is not to break up with you. My intention is to see if we can work together on this. But if I'm the only one working and you're not going to do anything, then we may have to part ways. And that could be a positive experience, right? Breaking apart from something potentially has a good experience attached, right? Breaking apart from smoking cigarettes or doing drugs. You break apart from something, but what you get in the end is a much better result than had you stayed with it, okay? We want to create a safe space. That's number 4. Creating a safe space for both sides. This safe space also includes safe body language. We don't want to be big, right? We don't want to feel like we're overpowering the other person. especially if you are the host of the conversation. If you're the one that goes to the person to start it, you don't want to come at them and make them defensive, because automatically, boop, cut off. The conversation's not going to go where you want it to go, right? Which is to that positive end point. Now, after you create the safe space, we want to be seated, right? You can be at home, but we want it to be a private place. Sometimes though, depending on the people, it does help to have a good conversation or a harder conversation out in public, right? Maybe at a little coffee shop or a restaurant, something of the like. Not somewhere where people know you, but a place where there's other people around, and that will force you to keep your voices low, right? And to not let your emotions get so heightened to where you're starting to yell at each other, because obviously we don't want other people looking at us, right? So that's going to help you with that. Brutal. Oh, you know what? We're skipping one. Once you've created the safe space, you're at home, whatever, wherever you may be, it's safe for the both of you. You both feel comfortable here and feel open enough. Maybe it's your favorite place. Maybe it's where you first met. Maybe it's on the beach somewhere. You want to explore. Don't expect a specific outcome. We're exploring, okay? We're exploring your mind, who's beginning the conversation. We're exploring the other person's mind who is invited into the conversation. We're exploring both, right? So this is why it's very important to not have a specific outcome, because guess what? More than likely, it's not going to happen the way you want it. More than likely, you're going to be you're going to be, if I had that, I don't know how to edit very well, right? I can edit well, but I might rewind it. We'll see if I fucking figure it out. It would do you well. What the fuck was I even saying? Oh, to not expect. Don't expect a certain outcome from them, or a certain outcome, because it's not going to happen the way that you expect it to. That's just period, point blank. What in life has planned out and happened exactly the way you wanted it to? If you can tell me one thing, then you've just broken down this whole video. Go do you. But if you say 0, then stick with me, because again, we're going to come out of this stronger than when we arrived. Brutal and kind honesty. Okay, this is number 6. Brutal and kind honesty. How we do brutal and kind. I'll make another video for that. Figure it out yourself, right? You know what brutal honesty is, and you know what completely rude honesty is, right? There's 2 different spectrums on that, or 2 different ends to the spectrum on that. We want to be succinct when we're talking about making sure that we're being honest, but the honesty has to come from a place of love. Again, really love and purity, and making sure that we're not doing it to harm the other person or to hurt them. It's simply to have their eyes open. If they get hurt in the process, that's not your responsibility. And even in not arguments, but tougher conversations that I've had with people close to me, I'll let them know what you said, it hurt me, but that's not because you said it. It's my own emotions. It's my own feeling. It's what my insecurity is that's inside of me that's making me feel this way. So don't take responsibility for how I feel. Okay? I've said that, plain and simple. Don't take responsibility because they said, I'm sorry to say this. I said, please don't be sorry. Yeah, it hurts, but I can feel that it's the truth from you, and it's a hard truth that I need to hear in my emotions, and I feel uncomfortable with it. That's okay, because that will go away. But thank you for telling me the truth about how you see me, because now we can move forward with a better understanding of each other. So brutal and kind honesty. Brutal yet kind honesty. If you're not in that public place, number 7, if you're not in that public place and you are at home, home is your comfort place, right? And home is where you feel like you can raise your voice and you have more freedom to do and act as you will, as you please. The only thing with that is when we're at home and we have those times where our emotions start to get really, really heightened, okay? Our vibration, we can feel it. We can literally feel a vibration in our hearts and in our tummy and our throats, right? We might get a little shaky, a little sweaty. When you start to feel those symptoms, the first thing is to be aware of how you start to feel, of their little landmarks in your body. Little landmarks in your body to become aware of when you're in an uncomfortable situation, especially like a hard discussion, an argument, or something of the like. You're gonna have emotions come up. The key is to not give in to the emotions though, okay? The key is to slow down your breathing and be quiet. Slow down your breathing and be quiet. Silence is not bad. Silence is okay. Yelling is not. I speak loud. I'm a loud talker. So I've been told that if I speak loudly, someone asks me, why are you yelling at me? Unfortunately, I've had to tone it down a bit because I realized I was hearing that too much. And it was obviously pinging something in multiple people that was causing their minds to think I'm yelling at them when I'm not. I speak loudly. The thing is that obviously if we're yelling, it's only going to continually get worse until somebody shuts the fuck up. So be the responsible one and just stop. Silence is okay in arguments. It's okay to be quiet. Yeah, 1 minute of silence when you're really tense can feel like eons. It can feel like a whole hour and you want to say, hey, say something, or, you just want to start spewing out stuff. That shit that you're going to say is not helpful. And how do I know? Because I've done it so many goddamn times and I've not helped myself in doing that. So I learned to shut the fuck up. And that minute has started to feel shorter and shorter and shorter the more that I do that, the more that I'm quiet. Whether it's good or bad, make eye contact. Whether you're having a good or bad conversation, eye contact is very, very key. How do you feel if someone's telling you something or asking you something, but they're not looking at you? Or if someone is expressing themselves, but they're not looking at you? You feel as though there's some type of dishonesty there. And even though it may not be true, even though every single word could be completely truthful, right? God signs the goddamn contract saying this is truth. Even though it's the eye contact that will deflect the subconscious of the other person receiving to say, hey, this person doesn't really care about what they're saying. They're not really telling me the full truth. There's something else in there that I'm not getting out of them. And with that comes a ton of anxiety that can obviously keep that fucking argument or the hard conversation from progressing, right? What we're really accomplishing here is getting out of those pit stops, okay? When we have a hard conversation, if it starts to become a battle, that's a pit stop, right? We want to shorten the amount of pit stops that we have or shorten the length of them. And this is one way to do it. By having the open and honest conversation, by being able to be quiet when things get really rowdy and start to kind of amplify, and also to not yell and to look into each other's eyes. So don't force an answer or a response out of somebody. I've done this multiple times and I'm still guilty of doing it, forcing an answer or a response. Like if I'll say something to somebody and I don't get a response, I'm like, hey, did you hear me? But doing that in a hard conversation is a much trickier thing, because what if the person is just thinking about what they're going to tell you? You're not giving a shit about letting them think is what they feel, right? That's what they feel like. You don't care about letting them think and ponder about some shit for a second, because what if the next thing out of their mouth is, oh, I'm sorry. You don't fucking know. So to be quiet and to be silent and to not force that answer or response out of the person will greatly, greatly add value to this conversation. It's going to add value for you, right, to them, because they're going to say, wow, they really do care in their mind. They're not going to say it, but they really did care to let me think about this. And now that I formulated my thought, I can express it to them. Now, if it's not solved timely, like let's say you guys have to be somewhere really quick, right? But you're having this hard convo. It ended up going a little too long, but we're not going to come to any type of conclusion fucking soon, right? Or at least at this conversation. What we want to do is go over what's already been understood to make sure that nothing that we've already talked about gets misconstrued and misunderstood by either party. So for example, if we're arguing about something and you say, okay, well, we got to go in 5 minutes. So let's, we've gotten this far. Okay, cool. So what have we gone over? Okay, you don't like it when I do this. So what I'm going to do from now on is da, 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 da. Okay, got it. So, and then I don't necessarily appreciate when this happens. So next time this happens, you're going to do this, right? Or the other person will say it themselves. You see what I mean? We want to recap what we understood. So that way we don't bring in that old shit. We don't even have to talk about it the next time. That way we understand our responsibilities, what we're going to do moving forward, and we don't bring the old shit into the new conversation. And yeah, let's go over what it's been done, and then hug, kiss, and repeat. That's number 12. Hug, kiss, and repeat. So just to go over everything really quickly again with you guys, we're going to begin with the intention. We're going to be open and honest about those intentions. If your intention is to make someone else feel harm or feel badly, don't talk. If your intention is to only bring about a positive outcome to this, whether it ends up being you two separating or not, talk. Do that conversation. Number 4, create a safe space for both parties involved. Number 5, explore. Don't expect anything. Okay, don't expect a specific outcome. Number 6, brutal yet kind honesty, 100% needed. Number 7, when emotions start to flare, slow down your breathing and be quiet. Number 8, silence is okay. We're good on being quiet. Yelling, don't do that. Whether it's good or bad, look each other in the eyes. Saying something good, saying something bad, eye contact is key. Do not force an answer or a response. If it is not solved in the timely manner, then what you got to do, remember, recap everything. Make sure you put it in a bucket so it doesn't get brought up next time. And you want to hug and kiss and repeat the same thing the next time you enter the conversation. I love you guys so much. Thank you for enjoying this video. I'll see you on the next one.